to the moment where you got shot, and then
Sure.
what happened after that?
Sure. It was 2009. By then, I had some money, and every weekend we go to the clubs. We go to the clubs looking for girls. We're smoking some weed. We're drinking in their life, right? So for us, it's a tradition to go get new clothes. You go to the club, you got to have a new outfit. So me and my friend, we're gonna go shopping during the day. We go shopping, but I kept seeing this one guy. Okay. First, we went to the clothing store. I come out, he's sitting on his car. And this is something in my spirit says something is not right about this guy. But I looked at him, he said, "What's up?" And said, "Okay, what's up?" We go to another store. I come out, he's outside the second store, way on the other side of our district. Just like it's no way you can keep running to the same person. So I thought it was, wait a minute. Now my spirit really was tugging on me. Like something is up with this guy. So again, I looked and he said he's sitting on his car outside of the store. So I tapped my friend and said, "Hey man, this man is following us." This guy, and my friend laughed. He was like, "Dude, you're not that important. Nobody following you, man. Quit it. You're nobody to be thinking about. Stop it. You're paranoid." Okay, I brushed it off. So later on, I come out 2 or 3 hours later, we're dressed. I'm ready to go out. I come outside the building. Guess who's standing there? The same guy. So this time I said, okay, I'm about to question this guy and ask him, do I know him from somewhere? Where is he from? You know what I mean? Because enough is enough at this point. My spirit is telling me I need to find out what's going on. As I'm walking and approaching the guy, he had a cigar in his mouth. And he said, "Do you have a lighter on you?" I said, "Yeah." And so as I'm reaching in my pocket, I saw a green flash. It's the first thing I really remember. It was a green flash. Okay. Now it just seems like, I don't know if things go in slow motion. When your body experiences traumatic experiences, you either black out or time slows down for you. Okay. And I'm noticing how God put that in as a safety mechanism for your body, for us, so we won't be over traumatized by the experience. But as I look up, I smell like, I don't know if you know either with matches, like if you would burn a whole book of matches, like the sulfuric smell.
Yeah.
That's what I smell. But as I look up to him, and he hit me again, wow, again. So now I'm looking at him, but he has this look on his face, and it was demonic. But it was like a "I got you" look, like a, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But the second time I fall back, as soon as I'm falling back, I feel myself falling forward.
Okay.
It's hard to explain. I'm falling back, but yet I can feel myself falling forward, and instantly, it was instantaneous. It was just like that. I was in darkness. But like I described before, this darkness is not a darkness like here on earth. It's not like you can blindfold yourself, like you can put yourself underneath the earth, super blindfold yourself and dig deeper. And it's still, this darkness is alive. You understand? It had a spiritual component to it, to where I felt that it was all over me, like it was holding me. But as I'm falling down, I can't even calculate the speed. But as I'm falling, the more I'm falling, the more I'm feeling things getting stripped away from me. Meaning such as like hope, love, all the stuff that we take for granted here that we don't realize that come from God, they're stripped from you as you're falling to this place. Okay? I want people to be aware. Don't take anything for granted. Because as I was falling, it's beyond, like I was saying before, at first, the terror. It's not fear, it's terror, and it's alive. It's a spirit. It's alive in that place. In the darkness, it's alive. It was alive. It was like the darkness had a consciousness of its own, and it was stripping me of everything good. So as I'm falling, I mean, it's so fast, and I can't even think clear, but I'm falling because people don't understand. Just say, for example, if you're here conscious, like we're talking right now, we're communicating, and then all of a sudden you're taken to just a whole other place instantly. It's instantaneous. There's no slow build up to it. There's no nothing there. It's boom. Okay. And I'm falling, and I'm feeling this fear, but the speed of the fallingness, I can't even explain it in words, no matter what language, no matter what. It's spiritual. It's a spiritual component to everything. Now that in hindsight, and the more that I'm mature in my spirit, I'm realizing that it is all spiritual. The spiritual life, I was in my spiritual body. Okay. I'm falling. Now, the first thing that hit me was this smell. The smell. But see, people don't understand. I'm going to explain it again. When you pass away, you don't lose your five senses. Sight, hear, touch, taste. No. They heightened. they get more potent. So they raise times 1,000,000. So you become more sensitive. They don't go anywhere. They get stronger. So like if you were to smell this smell right now, the smell that I was smelling, there's no way your body would be able to take it here on this earth. There's no sewer, no dead bodies, no dead animals, rotting flesh. There's nothing that can compare to this smell. Okay, it is so bad. It is just. But as I'm falling, I'm just like it's just overwhelming, the smell, and then all of a sudden I see a little light. It's a little light, because this darkness is so dark. You can see the light on like a top of a pinhead. It's bright compared to this darkness. So to see that little light, I'm thinking, but as I'm going, I'm falling, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. All of a sudden, I felt heat. I can feel heat coming from this light. But I wasn't even now that I'm looking at it, I wasn't even paying attention to the heat because I was so scared. I'm smelling this smell, but I'm starting to see it looked like a big portal. But this portal looked like it was rocks. Okay. That's what I want to explain to people. Hell is here on earth, but it's in a different dimension. Okay. Just like when I start learning scientific principles on different dimensions, it makes complete sense. Just like I'm sitting here right now, but there's different frequencies going through me that I can't even see, like microwaves, radio waves, all types of things, but they're vibrating on a different frequency. So you can have two places in one space because of different dimensions. So hell is on earth, but it's in a different dimension. All right. Yes. So now as I'm falling and I'm seeing this portal and it's open, as it opened now, I'm pretty much right there and I can see every detail. Now remember, your senses are heightened. You can see a molecule if you wanted to, if you focus and zoom in on it. I mean, that's how pinpoint accurate your senses are in the spiritual body. Now I'm looking and it's rocks, like stones, ancient rocks, caverns, but I fall through and I hit the bottom. Now, when I hit the bottom,
so the opening is like rocks.
Yes,
like circular.
It's like you're entering the cave system.
Okay.
It's like I was falling into an ancient cave system. That's the best way I can describe it. But the rocks were glowing. Everything on the rocks was so hot. They were like yellow, orange, white. They were hot. They were so heated. That's the little light that I was seeing. When I got there, I knew exactly that was that opening. So when I hit the bottom, I mean, I slammed so hard, but I didn't even feel that pain like that, because when I tried to move, I was so more worried. I was like, I was just panicking so bad. I tried to move and I couldn't move the way we move here. It felt like I was wearing a big heavy suit, like I was weighed like 900 pounds. So just like I'm moving my arms now and I can do this and that. No. First of all, you feel like instantly I felt I had no energy. And what that was, now that I realize, is that we're so used to being in our physical body. We're so used to things of our physical nature. Like I couldn't breathe. When I was trying to breathe, it was like I couldn't even breathe. It's because I wasn't breathing in the first place. There's no oxygen in that place. But we're so used to being here, just like we're breathing now, we're unconsciously breathing. So I thought I was trying to breathe. So that makes my anxiety there even worse, because you're so used to being in this flesh. You think you have fleshly movement. It doesn't work that way. You're stripped of everything. Remember, you're stripped of everything God gave you. So even having movement, even that comes from God. See, we don't realize that. Even breathing and just feeling, that comes from God. But that was stripped. You get stripped of all of that by the time you make it there.
Were you thinking about outside at all, or
no,
like you weren't even thinking about the earth?
No,
you were just focused on this place.
Yeah, you don't. You're so petrified. You're so scared. You're not thinking about anything here. You're not thinking about a person. You're not thinking at that moment. You're not thinking about anything. I was so shocked and going through in the fear and the anxiety and just everything. You're not thinking. That's the last thing you're thinking about. You're not thinking about any of those things.
So when you realized where you were, what happened next?
I'm trying to get up, and it was so dark. It was just as dark, but all of a sudden, the only thing that illuminated that place, the first thing I saw before me were the pits. And they were like, flames were coming up. And then you can see when these flames come up, that's how you can see. But when the first pit lit up, I saw it had to be thousands, as far as your eye can see, of these pits. And they were connected in rows, but they would go so far, like, I mean, it had to be miles and miles and miles of these pits. But inside these pits, there were people, okay? But what really caught my attention before I describe the people in the pits were these beasts around all the pits. They were like giants. Some of them were like, and they all had like a reptilian kind of theme to them. They all looked like reptile, nasty, deformed. Some of them had long arms, short arm with a long arm, bodies. But the giants that I saw, some of them had to be like 13 to 18 feet tall. I mean, huge. I'm talking about ripped up muscles, huge. I mean, they
Like
were
humanoid. Were there humanoids?
humanoid.
Like,
Yes, they had legs, they had arms, they had chest muscles. They were very humanoid, but not even close to humans. Not even. They were so ugly, and the smell that I was smelling, they stink. It was
Okay.
them. It was them. Like they stink. The horrible smell to them. Horrible smell. And a lot of them smell like sulfur too. Like that's why a lot of people who I've talked to who had experiences with demons, they always smell like a sulfuric smell. They stink. They smell bad. They smell they're horrible. But then I also saw demons as tall as this pen. They small. You got some, they all sizes, all shapes, all sizes, but they had some of them had red eyes, some of them had yellow eyes with the slits in them, and some of their skins were scaly. Like I said, they had that reptile, like the reptilian type look. But some of them didn't have the reptile look. Some of them were just so deformed and ugly, hairy. It just didn't make sense. Some of them were just so disproportionate, it didn't make any sense.
did they notice you when you fell?
No, not right away. Not right away. One of them did, and that's how I look back, because I never saw the Lord. I never saw the Lord. But now that I look back, he had to be with me to be protecting me, because
Okay.
the hatred that they have for us, it is beyond description. It is beyond words. They hate. There's no form of hate here on this planet that can even get close to how they feel about us. They hate you so bad, you can feel it. The energy will kill you. If their hatred was in the form of a weapon, here on earth, you would die. You would die. They hate. When I say hate, hate is an understatement. Hate would feel like love compared to the hatred that they have for us. Literally. Yeah. But as I looked at the pits and the people, some of them were like charred skeletons, charred, burned up skeletons. Some of them had flesh hanging off of them. Okay. And the thing is, they were trying to crawl out. And now, I mean, because once you get there, you know that you know. You know pretty much everything. You can see a person in hell and know why they're there. There's no time there. There's no time that you have to take to learn, because everything is connected. So you know that you know. And they were there to guard the people from coming out the pit. They had these spears and these ancient things, and people were trying to crawl out. They were sticking them, grabbing them, especially the big giant, grabbing them and throwing them right back into the pits and the lava. I mean, and then what got me though, like I was saying before, I forgot to mention, was the screams and the yells. Okay, it moves your spirit. The sense of the way these people were screaming and in agony and the regret and the pain, it is beyond comprehension. Even right now as we speak, that place is going on right now. And that's what reminds me every day. It's happening right now as we speak. People are there right now, and it's so many people. It is so many people. But as I'm trying to get up and I look, and I'm looking at these pits, and I'm just, now I thought I was already scared and full of anxiety. Now it's just beyond. It keeps growing. There's no limit to fear in the spiritual realm. Just when you think, okay, I'm maxed out of my anxiety. I'm maxed out on my, no. It keeps growing and it doesn't stop. There's no limit to how fearful you become. You know, I'm trying to get up. Then all of a sudden I felt something grab my head, and I can see the claw. This thing had to be huge, and it threw me. And when it threw me, I mean, the strength of this thing, it was like me picking up this pen and throwing this pen. It was like, it was nothing. So I don't care what people say, oh, I will go in down there and I'll fight. No, I'm sorry. No, it's not happening. I don't care if you're the strongest man on earth. You have nothing.
It's like you had no control, right? You have no control.
You have no control. You have no strength. It's like you didn't eat in months. You don't have no nutrients, no kind of muscle, none of that. That's out the window. That comes from God. And everything, nope, that's not there. So you can try your best if you want to, and it's nothing gonna happen. So as I got hit this wall. But now, as I noticed, as I once again, Lord had to be with me because I didn't feel, because of the force that I was thrown. I would have felt. I knew I was going to feel the pain, because one thing I'm going to explain to everyone, like I explained before, my testimony is that here in the body we have a nervous system, right? So if I was to touch you and just pinch your hand, you would feel it only on your hand. In the spirit world, there's no such thing. If you get hit in the hand, you feel it through your whole body simultaneously at the same time. You won't feel it just in an isolated place where you got pinched. You will feel it all at one time, from your head.
So pain also is more intense as well.
By a million, and that's an understatement. It is, see, because the spiritual world is people don't understand. Everything here physical is the leftovers from the spiritual. That's why the Lord said your thoughts are more realer. That's why you get judged by your thoughts, because that's what the real is. It's not, your action is just a reflex of your thoughts. So now I know what the Lord means by that, because the spiritual is way more realer than this. Everything here physical is leftovers from the spiritual world. When you're in hell, there is no outdate. There is no time. There is nothing no schedule. There is none that's gone. You know you're there. And the worst part is, I knew I deserved to be there. That was the thing that really got me. I had no rebuttals for me not being there. Okay.
So you weren't crying for mercy. You weren't calling out to God. Nothing like that.
No. And that's another thing. See, the people don't understand the things that I was hearing. You had a lot of people calling out to God. You had a lot of people asking for 5 more minutes, 1 more chance. Please, I'm sorry. Let me make it up to you. Can hear everything. That's another thing I want to add. Remember I was talking about the 5 senses being heightened? You can hear everybody screaming at one time, but you can individualize every person. You can individualize every scream. You can individualize. But then I heard a lot of blasphemous things towards God. I heard a lot of anger, a lot of cursing God out. I heard a lot of big time. People were angry.
Only people were making sounds. The demons weren't making any sounds, or whatever those creatures were.
Demons, that was, I was going to get to that. When the demons were communicating with each other, they have their own language. And their whole language hurt my body every time they talked. Every time they talked.
So you never understood what they were saying?
Oh, yeah, you understand everything. I'm going to use the term, you overstand everything that they saying. What they was communicating back and forth, they were calling us stupid humans. When they were grabbing and torturing humans and doing all type of things, they were calling us stupid, and they were laughing. They laughed, they enjoy. Because what I found out and what I saw myself through my experience is that they get energy off our pain. They eat it. It's a form of food to them. It's like a drug to them. They get high off of it. That's why they're here on earth. They keep us depressed, angry, full of anxiety, because they're feeding off that. That's their food. They literally eat that. So they cause situations for you to feel that way so they can eat. They eat off that. And in hell, they have an abundance, nonstop supply of food, because all they do is torture. They say if your arm gets ripped off, your arm will grow right back. Rejuvenate. And it happens over and over and over again. Like I say, I saw tons of people there where they were ripping over their mouth and pouring hot lava down their throats. They'll melt and they'll come right back and they'll do it all over again. And then they invite other demons to come and get turned. Like I was also mentioning about promiscuous women who were there, and men. But I saw my experience. I saw majority of what I saw were the women being raped by demons. This one lady was being raped and tortured so bad sexually that I'm not going to say it on here, but it's beyond horrible. But I'm talking about, it's and then some of the tortures are so bad. I still to this day, I can smell a certain smell, especially matches. I don't like the smell of matches at all because it brings me back to that. It reminds me of that. Yeah, it does, like PTSD, big time. I don't like that. But
your wife said you said something about. I think it wasn't the last one I listened to. Actually, you said you saw pastors and people like that there. Could you explain?
Yes, you know what? And I saw, and a lot of them were still dressed in suits. Okay, there was like a cavern, like a cave. And a lot of them were just sitting there like they were waiting. Well, the demons would come in, especially the giant ones, and snatch them up and throw them in boxes. They were throwing these pastors in boxes. They had all types of stuff for them. They had all types of, like, they had a field day with the pastors, the fake pastors. I'm going to be honest. A lot of them were just misusing their authority that God gave them. Okay. And for one example, they threw this one pastor in a box, and it was an old nasty box, but the box was filled with hot coals in it. So when they throw them in it and they close it, you can hear, I mean, the screams are beyond, like, you can feel it. You can feel it's just the anguish and the pain. And they were throwing these things in them. They were stabbing they were ripping people apart. They were eating people, especially the pastors. They had they had a real good time with them. They were enjoying, like, really. A lot of people who I saw were a part of the church. Like I said, you can look at somebody in hell and know why they're there. There's no ifs, ands, about it. Like, if somebody was to look at me, they'll know why I was there.
The people that were in church,
Mhm.
what were some of the sins that they did? Like,
I
that
saw more gossipers in hell than anything from the church.
Wow.
Gossip, backstabbing, lust in the church, right? But the most of all was the gossiping, because people don't understand the power of gossip. They don't understand how powerful it is, how you can hurt somebody's life for just, you know what I mean? It was so many people down there for gossiping. They smile in your face, but then, oh, look at Sister Clark, or look at brother so and so, but then you're in church praying with them instead of praying for them. See, when you talk about somebody's problem, you better have a solution. If not, it's gossip. Plain and simple. If you're going to talk about someone's problem, you better be willing to help that person. If not, don't talk about it and stay out of their business, because that's serious. God doesn't play with gossip. And I saw that firsthand. God does not play when it comes to gossip. Top two. The top one is gossip. The next one is unforgiveness. You know how many people say, I forgive, but I won't forget? That's not forgiveness. See, when God forgives us, it's deleted from the universe. It's gone. He doesn't remember, clearly doesn't remember. You can try to say, hey, Lord, remember I did this? He's going to say, what are you talking about? Because it's been deleted from his heart. We don't do that. We say we forgive you and still have in the back of our mind reservations and judge that person and still kind of say, I'm just going to, and I saw so many people there for that. See, people don't understand. Yeah, we unqualify and disqualify ourselves from going to paradise. Paradise in heaven cannot have 1 ounce of filth in it. If so, you will corrupt it. So that's why we need the Lord as a mediator to make sure he washes us from that. Because we're all imperfect. We're going to fall. We're going to have flaws. But our relationship with him and his grace, he washes us clean from that so we can enter paradise. Because you cannot have one blemish on you. It's like if you have a fresh basket of apples and you put one in with a little mold on it, what's going to happen to the rest of those apples?
The whole bunch is going to be spoiled.
Exactly. So therefore, we disqualify ourselves from getting into heaven because we're so blemished. And then we think we can do it on our own. We can't do it without him. There's no way we can cleanse ourselves the way we need to be cleansed to be on that frequency of heaven. So we disqualify ourselves all the time.
Some people would say that they would say, well, you know what? Once you're covered, and like the pastor, for instance, he's okay even if he mess up. Like he's covered, past, present, future sin, and the other gossipers or people unforgiveness is fine because you're covered.
Sure,
and that's something that people say. Like I saw another testimony of a pastor in Africa, very very gripping health testimony. Mm-hmm. He said it was unforgiveness that caused him to go to hell.
See, and that's what I'm saying. And those who say that, they obviously don't read the scriptures. Because clearly in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26 says, if you commit a sin and you know thereof that it's a sin, there is no sacrifice that can save you. See, Hebrews chapter 10, verse 26. So all that once saved, always saved, that comes from the pits of hell itself. It's a lie. It's a lie. If that's the case, I might as well go back to the life I used to live. I got saved, so I might as well just go, let's go kick it, man. Hey, let's go have fun. Let's go do what we need to do then.
Those are fighting words, right? Because in health testimonies, you always have people in the comment section that talk about that, right? Mm-hmm. They always talk about it. Even when I shared my outer darkness experience. So when you spoke about the little pin, the light, I saw that. My thing was just this pitch black place that looks like a cave, right? I found myself in this place. Mm-hmm. And when I realized, just like you said, the hopelessness, there was a palpable sense of, as you said, you cannot get out. You know that you're stuck there forever.
Yes.
And this hopelessness was beyond anything I can describe. And
Yeah.
when I realized where I was, I cried out for Jesus, and then I saw a little light, like a little pinprick of light, way out in the distance, and I bolted to it. And when I jumped to the light, that's when I leaped out of like my bed, and it's a very traumatic experience for me. Like, so I understand.
Yes,
Some of
I
the
can
things
tell.
I never experienced what you experienced, but I got a little glimpse of the outer darkness, and that was enough for me to understand that it's not something to be messed with. And I was a Christian,
right?
Right? I was a believer at the time, but I was lukewarm.
Yep.
I was a lukewarm believer at the time. But continue from you saw the bars, and you saw people inside the bars, and the ancient, like some people from like way back when.
Yeah,
Continue
from ancient
there.
Persia all over. You can clearly see, you can clearly tell, like these things and these people were just there for thousands and thousands of years. Even the garbs they were wearing, some of them were skeletons, some of them, like I said, were just like ancient, but the color of their flesh was like a smoky gray darkness. It wasn't, you can't tell what race they were only by their features, but they were from all over, but they were very, very ancient. And I knew they were there for astrology, witchcraft. This like all of them were there for worshiping other gods, worshiping Baal, worshiping demons. Like all of this was like a dedicated section to those ancient ones who were worshiping other false gods, and then led other people to worship false gods. See, it's one thing that when you sin alone, cool, that's bad enough. But when you bring others to sin with you, when you become contagious and you're sinning, it's way worse. You have way worse judgment that falls upon your head. So that's what I say. Hey, if people, make your own choice, but don't bring nobody with you. Don't make nobody fall with you, because you're going to be held accountable, not only for yours, but for theirs as well.
So what was some of the regret? Like some of the things that they were saying, like, that they were sorry about, stuff like that. Regret.
This is it, because I had the regret. I had the review. I call it the great review, because it comes a moment when you're in there where he shows you every detail, every conversation that you heard someone that you didn't even see, and how that causes a ripple effect in their life. Every bad thing I did, from even stealing the candy bar when I was 7 years old, to every detail that you ever did. Now, I don't know if people remember, in the Bible, it says your own flesh will testify against you. See? So my own flesh was testifying against me, to me. And that's when I had the feeling that I have no right to get out of here. That's when I had the feeling that, you know what, I deserve this. That was when I came with a feeling, overwhelming feeling, where it hit me that, dang, I deserve to be here. There's no way I'm getting out of here, because you have so many people screaming, please let me make it up to her, or let me make it up to him. Give me one more chance to go say, like, it was just so many things of regret that they wish they can do one more time to make things up to people. The things that they said to people, the things they physically did to people, the things that they stole from people, the thoughts that they were thinking about people, the gossip that they did someone and made someone lose their job or lose their reputation because of gossip. Even false gossip is even worse. When you just make up things about somebody because you're jealous of them. There's a lot of people, the spirit of jealousy. See, hell is very organized, and people don't realize this. Hell is so organized. It has a spirit for everything. A spirit for everything that you think is just you. I want to tell people, when you're in hell, there's no fellowship. That's why this part, I want to make it clear that the Lord obviously gave us the opportunity, because there was a long line of people in these chains, okay? And they were coming and they were walking on this path, but each on the side of them like guards, almost like prison guards, but they were demons. Just some of them big, some was walking, so these people wouldn't try to run off the path. And they were marching them towards the gates, But one person noticed and looked up. Now I'm thinking that the person noticed the Lord behind us. But then gave them an opportunity to start screaming towards us, don't come here. Don't. They were screaming in all different languages, and I'm looking at the people on this side, looking at the people on this side of the cliff, and they were screaming, don't. They were like giving us utter warnings, like, don't, please. They were begging to not come. And when you can feel the sincerity and the fear and the terror, like it is beyond. Just by looking at that place and hearing them, I knew. I said, my next step is I'm about to be down there in that chain gang, heading on that path. But all of a sudden, it was just like The same force of a swish, because around when I went to different compartments in hell, it was like I was teleporting. It was boom, boom. He was taking me. So now I know that was the Lord showing me. But all of a sudden, I felt that same back. But when I came, I got slammed into my body, and I was in the hospital. Okay.
How long did it feel like it was? You said it's timeless, right? But how long did it feel? Did it feel like you were there for a long time?
I feel like I was there
Can you
for
quantify
months.
it?
I feel like I was there for months.
Wow.
It felt like I was there for months.
Like Earth months, like our months, it felt
Our
that long.
months here on Earth, it felt like I was there
Wow.
for months. And I was only
Wow.
there for like 3 minutes and 40-something seconds, 47 seconds.
Wow. So your wife said you were pronounced clinically dead.
3
right?
minutes and 47 seconds.
What was the most memorable thing maybe that happened during that time in hell when you were being, shown different things that you want to share?
What sticks out to me, all of it to me was equally, but what sticks out in my mind was, I call it the human shish kebabs, where the giants were taking these big rusty poles, and they were taking humans and they were taking them from underneath, and they was putting them on these poles, like 4 or 5 at a time, and then they were carrying them around. Like, they put these spears through them. These spears are huge, and they would take the body and they would poke you through, and they would stuff you, and they'd stuff another one on top of you, and they'd stuff another one while you're screaming and moving, and then they'd pick you up, and I don't even know where they were carrying them. But to me, I still even get I still visualize it. I can still feel it. I can still smell the atmosphere. But to me, besides the females getting raped, the men's getting their genitals cut off, the sexual torture, and I call it the human shish kebab torture, to me, it really, 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 those are the two that really stick out to me, really much so.
So in terms of senses, right? So I want to give people like a sense of maybe like what is it, like a daze feeling, like you're in like a dream-like state, or is it like very vivid, or do
Mm-mm,
you feel like what you feel now, like
mm-mm.
what's it like a dream state,
Have you
or
ever had a dream? See, there's a difference between dreams and messages. Have you ever had a dream where when you first wake up, you're glad to be here, and you look and say, whew, I'm glad that was just a dream. So imagine that type of feeling magnetized times 1,000. It's more realer than me experiencing talking to you right now.
wow.
It's even hard. Like I say, there's certain emotions that I feel and we feel as human beings on a daily basis that you can't even put into words, right? The descriptive part, I'm just getting close to it as I can, because there's some things that I can't even fathom to put in a human language, any language. There's no words, because everything there is so impactful and so powerful. It's energy. I can't even calculate how people. Yeah.
And some people say it's fake, right? And that's the thing. When I read those comments, I feel, I'm just like, man, like,
Yeah.
what do you have to say to people who don't believe? Like people
Okay.
who hear stuff like this and they're like, oh, it's fake.
But guess
What do you
what?
say to them?
The demons love that. The demons are clapping, because the fact is they don't want you to believe so you can get there. See, hell does not need your belief. Hell doesn't need you. Actually, it don't want you to believe, because how can you fight an enemy that you don't believe exists? That means you already lost. So they want you. So listen, my job is just to deliver a message. I don't debate my experience. I don't have to debate it, because one thing we all have in common as human beings, we're all going to die. I'm just telling you. The Lord told me I don't have to debate anything. My job is just to tell you my experience, my testimony. People can do what they want to do with it, but I'm just telling you. Like, for example, if you're in Japan right now, if you come to the United States and say, the jails in the United States are not real, well, go break the law. Watch what's going to happen. The jail that's waiting for you don't need you to believe in it. It's sitting there waiting for you. It's a cell with your name on it, your little cot with your name on it. It don't need you to believe in it. So people who I want to say that, they don't want you to believe. So I ask you, I don't, like I tell people all the time, there's 1.8 and some more million gods that are worshipped on this earth. Okay. Why is it that our Lord and our Father God, especially Jesus Christ, is the only one picked on? Why is he the only one mocked? Why is he the only one out of 1.8 million known gods that are worshipped? Why is he the only one made into a curse word? Why is he the only one so disrespected? Because he's the truth. That's why.